Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, the Yankees split 4 with the Minnesota Twins. They come into town, take the first 2 in the Bronx, but the Yankees even it out, taking the final 2 games and getting an outstanding start from Garrett Cole, who's really looking right now, having perhaps a special season for himself, and maybe that means something for the team. So get into the Minnesota series, but before we do, make sure you subscribe to this podcast. So whether it's your first time listening or you've listened multiple times, but you haven't gotten on the edge yet of subscribing. I don't know why you haven't, but hit that subscribe button and get notified when new content goes up throughout the rest of the season. Got a lot more baseball left. So Yankees coming in, obviously probably looking up into seeing the Rays almost never losing, but again, finally they did take some losses there against Toronto. So I guess they are human after all. But nevertheless, the Yankees having this homestand, again, it's going to begin with Minnesota, and of course Ohtani, and the Ohtani show comes to town right after. And for this series, you were looking forward to it for a couple of reasons. Obviously, if you hate Carlos Correa, now Correa did burn the Yankees a little bit. Obviously, you want to see him fail a little bit more. Didn't turn out to be the case. But also, you were licking your chops to get an opportunity to boo Joey Gallo. But unfortunately, that would not be the case. Gallo on the injured reserve list, so he wasn't even available during the series. And just miraculously comes off once Minnesota leaves town. So, who knows if he was really hurt or not. He just probably maybe just want to get abused for 4 games at Yankee Stadium. But nevertheless, game 1 was Johnny Brito, who was, again, kind of coming out of nowhere lately, got his first win in the last start, and I kind of really liked the way he looked. I mean, he looked comfortable, looked, just in control there. Well, this was, unfortunately, the exact opposite in this game. Put the Yankees in an earlier hole, couldn't even get out of the first inning. Minnesota just bombed on him right away. A home run by Carlos Correa, his first of the season, and he actually came in. People, whatever you want to say about Volpe, okay, he's just a rookie, but Carlos Correa at this point, batting under 200, had no home runs. Now, he missed the previous 4 games with back spasm, and that's always been the problem with him. That's why the Giants want to take the plunge on him. That's why the Mets want to take the plunge on him. Now, that was because of the ankle injury. This is back spasm, but he's had that back spasm issues as well. Again, kind of an injury-plagued gentleman, so this is kind of why, and I didn't want him at all, and that's why a lot of teams didn't turn on. But in this game, finally, did make his impact, also could contribute with a home run. Again, put the Yankees in it early, again, 7-0 hole. And from this game from onward, Minnesota would just pile on. Really, it was one of those games where the Yankees didn't have a shot, and you'd say it's a total clunker. And whatever. I mean, the Yankees really haven't had a game like that this season so far, so I think you could live with it. It's not really a big deal. The only one similar to that was maybe the second Phillies game where they lost 4-1, but even that wasn't really a blowout. I mean, they still technically had a shot in later innings. This was a game the Yankees just completely wiped out in the first inning, and gives the fans a credit even by the final inning there. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa pitching there just out of desperation, and of course with the new rules, if you're losing by 9 runs or more, in the 9th inning there, you can go, okay, you can use a position player to pitch there. So that was really the only reason I care if it was out there. So this game was pretty much mop up. And on the other side for Joe Ryan, the Yankees really couldn't muster anything against him. He went 7 innings, struck out 10, no walks, and just gave up the 1 home run to Rizzo. And Rizzo was pretty much the Yankee offense the whole way. He actually hit 2 home runs in this game. This is a game where we actually saw Judge's 45-game consecutive on-base streak ended. He went 0 for 3 in this game. Again, really not much from the Yankee offense. And Colton Brewer, who again the Yankees picked up when they designated Estevan Florial for a sign, put Brewer on the roster. After this game, he would be designated for a sign for himself, which again I'm not surprised. I'm not sure why they need him in the first place. Seemed more like unless he was a roster spot holder, so they designated him for assignment and brought up Greg Weissart in the bullpen there, just because maybe the Yankees have been getting a little taxed lately. And of course, we saw Weissart last season, came up from AAA, the local guy, the Fordham guy. Decent enough, so he'll be up here to see how long. Again, maybe at some point he goes down. Maybe the Yankees make some other moves. But interesting enough for Florial, actually, he was put on waivers. It turned out no one claimed him, so actually the Yankees were able to recapture him, so to speak, and then put him into AAA. So if you're a Florial fan, you're like, oh, we don't use him, we don't see him like that. Well, maybe at some point he will again, because no other team wanted him. The Yankees took him back, but right now he's in AAA, and now Brewer is gone, and now Greg Weissart is in his favor, and the Yankees lose that first game by a score of 11-2. Again, it was a blowout where it's just, hey, we stunk this game, let it go. Really, it's the second game of this series where you kind of got to be kicking yourself with the Yankees let get away, and again, this is really a series. The Yankees should have took 3 out of 4. They should have won this game too. Didn't turn out to be the case. Now you would like the chances going in. You had Nestor Cortez on the mound, who was kind of rolling along pretty well. The Yankees had an early lead. Now, it started in the bottom of the first. Boone actually batted Volpe leading off is a little bit interesting, maybe again because he was struggling as well, hitting under 200, and he responded with his first career home run. So good to see him do that again in front of the hometown crowd. The Sterling call on that is kind of some Italian thing. He kind of goes off a little bit, and the Fox. I don't know if I don't know if maybe Fox Volpe means Fox in Italians. Yeah, I was a little disappointed with the call. I think he's really grasping for straws for that one. But nevertheless, Volpe kind of gets that one off his chest, gets his first career home run. And it was a back-to-back job because right after Judge batting second, hit a home run as well. And again, gave Nestor Cortez an early 2-0 lead. Now, finally in the sixth, the Twins would strike, and it'll be Carlos Correa, who had hit his first home run of the season just the night before against the Yankees, would hit his second home run. Kind of I would say kind of a slicing, definitely a Yankee Stadium home run, kind of went opposite field, kind of, just got enough bat on the ball. And it was a situation where we weren't going to sure if it was going to drop in the corner, but it just kind of went over the right field wall there. Again, a situation where maybe in a bunch of other ballparks, it's not a home run, but it is for Yankee Stadium, so cut the Yankee lead in half at that point, 2-1. But still, you still felt good. Right after that, the Yankees responded right back with Stanton. Hits a home run of his own, one of his patented laser home runs, kind of pulled it, and that kind of just dunked over the left field wall. Again, it was a situation where even if it was 500 feet, it was just one of those line drive home runs that was going to go on forever. It wasn't a cheapie whatsoever, and gave the Yankees, again, another 2-run lead. So at that point, Yankees up 3-1. But unfortunately, the mistake, and I mean, obviously, ultimately, Holmes is pitching, so you got to blame him. So I was blame Boone a little bit. Now it's eighth inning. I understand, look, with the batters are coming up, maybe like the matchups of having Holmes come out early versus be the traditional ninth, starting ninth. But again, these relievers, especially closers, they're creatures of habit. And when you put them in innings and situations that is mentally not really used to or just accustomed to, I think it almost always spells out bad. And Holmes, right off the bat, gives up a single, then a walk. So you already have 2 runners on, and then Carlos Correa, who so far had been killing the Yankees the first 2 games, strikes again, hits a double, scores both of those runs, and now takes what was before a 3-2 Yankee lead to now a 4-3 Yankee deficit. And at that point now the Yankees losing this game. And again, I blame a little bit of Boone on that one. I don't know the whole Michael King situation. Maybe he didn't want to use King in that spot, but I think that was a spot more appropriate for Michael King than Clay Holmes. And unfortunately, of course, the win for Nestor, who kind of left with the lead there. Left with a 3-2 lead, but now Nestor loses that win, and then you get a blown save by Holmes. And again, I could blame Boone for a lot of it too. And now the Yankees had dropped the first 2 games of the series, and with Game 3 coming up with Herman, who again hasn't really been that great in his first 2 starts, you kind of worried a little bit. Oh my God, are we going to lose 3 out of 4? We're going to get swept in this one. Just because you figure Cole's been rolling, yeah, you got Cole for Game 4, but he hasn't lost a game yet. He's due for a loss. He's due for a clunker. So now this start by Herman, really important. He came up big. Turned out to have his best start of the season. And now there would be a little controversy. Now he would come out, top of the first, strike out the side, and that was definitely a thing to come throughout this game. Herman would have his best strikeout performance, 11 strikeouts in total, and that would kind of, catch the attention of opposing manager Rocco Baldelli. He's like, hey, this guy's looking a little too good here, with the strikeout. Here's a guy who's been struggling a bit, and why is he getting all these strikeouts? So get to that a little bit. But before that, in the second, his catcher, Higgy, gives Herman an early 2-0 lead with a 2-run home run. And then the Rizzo tacks on after that in the third with a solo home run of his own, his 4th of the season. Again, give the Yankees a 3-0 lead there. But in the 4th, that's when things got interesting. Apparently, early in this game, I guess, as you know, when the checking, as they started with last season, checking for pitches, checking their hands inside and for any sort of sticky substances or cheating. Well, supposedly they did, see that, Herman had some like rosin on his hand. And they kind of told him to wash his hands. That's fine. They didn't really consider it cheating at that point to say, hey, just go wash your hands, go inside and wash your hands after the inning was done. Fine, he did that. Still seeing that perhaps he still had some of this residue rosin on his pinky. And now I guess, the umpires felt, hey, look, but this is not enough that would give him any sort of advantage with the ball like that. Rocco Baldelli wasn't having it. So they basically took himself out of the game, almost like, well, if you're not going to throw me out, I'm almost going to throw myself out there, just in his way of protesting the game. But nevertheless, Herman was able to stay in the game and pitch into the 7th inning there. And all it really did, Baldelli, and maybe it was a little strategy, it did delay the game for about 5 minutes or so, just as everyone was kind of talking about it. Boone was getting angry a little bit, and they figured maybe, it gives Herman an opportunity to get cold there, and maybe his team, can finally get some hits and muster a little offense. So you don't know if that's a little gamemanship as well by Baldelli, just seeing his guys strike out left and right like that. So nevertheless, Herman was just great in this game. Again, a game he really needed, especially the previous start. Absolutely just got, smoked, looked terrible there. So This was good bounce back for stuff for him. And again, he really needed. I don't know if his spot in the rotation had been in jeopardy yet, but he really needed a good start like this. So and he got it. Only really responsible for one run, which actually King allowed. It was a double to Jose Miranda. So Herman was responsible for that run. But other than that, Herman brilliant, 6.1 innings. So pitching the 7th, just gave up 3 hits, that 1 earned run. But again, the 11 strikeouts with no walk there. A lot of swing and misses off his changeup and curveball. And again, when that's going right for him, he can be filthy. And that's the Herman we saw in 2018 that won the 18 games. Kind of that since then, the past 3-4 seasons, kind of been in the wilderness a little bit. So I know he had the domestic incident. He was suspended for a while and then had some personal problems and a little inconsistency. But, we've kind of been looking for that 2018 Herman now for almost 4 or 5 seasons now. So, if he could kind of round into that form, he's only 30 years old. So it's not like he's an old man. So it's still there. So if he could kind of recapture that, that would be great for the Yankees. And the Yankee offense pretty much put this game away. In the 6th inning, Stanton with a 2-run double gave the Yankees at the point 6-1, and the Yankees kind of cruised the rest of the way there. And for Volpe in the game, 3 for 3 for stolen bases, and just the Yankees in general with Gleyber stealing bases, Volpe stealing bases, kind of a new thing. Again, probably has a lot to do with the new rules now, and then the pitcher engagements and how many times they could throw over. And the Yankees just seem to be taking advantage of that, and just get a new sort of weaponry for the Yankees of the stolen base, which again we haven't seen much of them almost forever. So it's just kind of good to add that little chunk. Again, you'd like to see maybe Volpe hit a little better for average, but at least he got his first home run off the schneid there. And for himself, he has stolen bases. So again, if he's not really hitting well, at least he's contributing in other ways once he does get on base. Which then brings us to the final game, probably most impressive single performance in terms of all the pitching performances of the 4-game series. That'd be by Garrett Cole, who coming into this one 3-0, pitching great for the Yankees. And I kind of mentioned this a few minutes ago. Hey, you expect maybe he's going to throw a clunker finally because he's just been so good. But he would even be better in this game. Would wind up throwing a complete game shutout, went all 9 innings, struck out 10, and only did it with a 2-0 lead there. So really little to no margin for error for him. Again, this looked like he's really having a special sort of season. Again, maybe it's the haircut, maybe you got crop that hair off the back there, and maybe it's that's helping his pitching. Who knows? But anyway, the Yankee offense finally got on the board in the 3rd inning. Both Judge and Rizzo on. They did a little bit of the hit and run, started the runners there, and it was a good call. So DJ was able to put some good wood on it. Hits a single to right field. Judge was able to score at that point. Gives the Yankees a 1-0 lead, and then in the 6th, DJ just did it all by himself with the bags empty. Hits a solo home run to right field, which at that point gave the Yankees a 2-0 lead. And you think, it's going to be dicey here, but Cole was dealing so well, didn't really seem to matter. And then this game, hitting some milestones, tied and then surpassed Whitey Ford for the all-time strikeouts for the team, and then tied, of course, and tied Ron Guidry for the Yankee lead, getting all-time strikeouts. So again, Cole kind of going up there in the strikeout standings, and had 98 pitches after eight innings, and Boone kind of, roll the dice a little bit early in the season. Usually don't push pitches that far. But again, I think Cole was so locked in. And you saw Holmes, get smacked around a little bit, in game 2. Maybe, Boone figure, what, maybe Cole, maybe a little tied right now might be my better option. Now, he did have Holmes warming up, and supposedly Carlos Correa was going to be Cole's last batter regardless. But luckily, Cole was able to get him to fly out with two outs in the 9th inning. The ball kind of, got hit deep a little bit. For a second, you thought maybe it might be a home run, possibly. Maybe if the wind was a little different, maybe that would have gone over the wall. And again, Wade Correa was kind of killing the Yankees the first 2 games. You think that might be a possibility, but didn't get enough of it. So Cole was able to keep him in the ballpark, get the final out there. They didn't have to use home. And again, get Cole going there, throwing the complete game, improving his record to 4-0. With an ERA under 1 right now. He looks fantastic. And really the story of him so far in this early part of the season has been he hasn't given up 1 home run yet. If you remember last season, gave up a lot of home runs, 33 in total. A lot of situations where he would just get, big going, rolling really well. And then like the 4th, 5th inning, he would just give up 5 runs on 2 of them being to a home run. Just having a lot of bizarre starts like that last season. Not the case this season. So whatever he did in the offseason to kind of correct himself, whether it was tipping pitches or just the workflow with his catcher, whatever he did, maybe cutting the hair. We don't know what it is. He's definitely seemed like he's cured the home run bug that bit them last season. So Yankees improved to 10-6, still in second place because again the Rays got off to that 12-0 start there, so they kind of still have to play a little catch up with them. So but that again, it's very early in the season. Don't really fret too much over the standings. But of course, now like I mentioned, the Yankees will have off Monday, and then the Ohtani show comes to town, and we'll see all the hype and flair with that. Of course, you can have all the arguments between Judge and Ohtani, who's the MVP and who's going to be the better player, and all that stuff. So that's that. As for the Yankees themselves, in terms of the health, of course, mainly focusing on Carlos Rodon. Well, he did throw a little bit, said he felt better with the arm, but now you got to be worried a bit because he felt that his back was stiff, and maybe this is from being inactive a lot, so got to be worried about that. Harrison Bader keeps running drills and stuff, keeps getting better, no league timetable, and Donaldson also running some drills there in third base as he works his way back. He was only on a 10-day IL list. Kind of either way, I don't think you're in any rush. I'm actually probably more in a rush to see Rondon, Beta, and maybe Donaldson last. So that's kind of the latest there on the injury run for the Yankees. So Yankees, after putting themselves in kind of an 0-2 hole with the Twins, they able to sort of bounce back, walk away with a series tie. Should have, the game 2 was the one that bothers you. They really should have took 3 out of 4, but didn't. Nevertheless, we'll move on now. And Carlos Correa kind of like, you hate to see him have success there, so he kind of came here and kind of stuck it to the Yankees a little bit. So got that. And unfortunately, you didn't get your chance to boo Joey Gallo, but maybe there'll be some other point down the line, that happens. And of course, there's always next season and the season after that and the season after that. So at some point, they're going to let Gallo have it. So that's the episode. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you next time.